Yo, 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 yo. What it is. We're go downstairs, man. What the hell on today? Man, y'all know we ready to rock and roll. Hold up. Let me get everything situated. No, this gonna be about real as it gets. You ain't gonna get no real perspective on the internet. I promise you. But 35 years is crazy. $35 is crazy. Now with this 35, he eligible for parole after half of the sentence. So with that, 17 years or something like that, 17 and a half years. But y'all, I told y'all, I'm not putting this on no white Jordan. I'm not. Cause I'm gonna keep it all the way real with y'all. With the evidence, if I wasn't as pro-black as I am, right? And I need people to hear me clearly with this. Cause if you don't know me, it might sound crazy. But for people that have been following my channel, I don't think there's a more pro-black person on the internet. Like when people say they pro-black, I'm pro-black for real. You hear me? But with the evidence presented, where if I wasn't as pro-black as I am, and I was on that jury, and I heard all the evidence that we heard, I would find him guilty too. Quick. I would have already had my fucking verdict. And it's not because he was actually guilty. It's because the lackluster performance by the defense. Yo, that's what people need to be focused on. Fuck the all-white jury. The chances was high that the jury was gonna be all white. Yo, we talking about Frisco, Texas. Let me show y'all. The fuck? The fuck on my shit? What is the percentage of black people in Frisco, Texas?
According to censusdots.com, 19,677 residents of Frisco, or 9.0% of the population, identify as black. The share of black residents in Frisco is slightly lower than in Texas overall, where
9% black, y'all. So the chances that they would even got 2 jurors that was black on the jury was slim. 9% overall. So he was. So this was a jury of his peers, is what I'm trying to show people. The makeup of that jury was a juror of his peers, being as though it's only 8% black people out of 51% white, 8% black, 26% Asian, 0.3% Native Hawaiian, and 0.23% of American Indian. Yo, I agree. He should have kept his hands to himself. You're right. If he would have kept his hands to himself, none of this would have happened. But that argument doesn't really serve a purpose right now. I think the most important argument that needed to be made was the fact that his defense team didn't defend. It didn't defend, y'all. Like, that should be the narrative right now. That's what the community should be upset about. The defense team, who was paid to defend, didn't defend. Horrible job, y'all. So earlier, I was showing y'all Nick at Night. And Nick at Night was going through some of these people's testimony. It wasn't obvious. Yo, that wasn't first degree murder. Him. That wasn't first degree murder. That was not first degree murder. Manslaughter? Yeah. See, y'all, I never, since the trial started, I didn't say he was not guilty. Once I heard, no, it wasn't self-defense. It wasn't self-defense. It definitely wasn't self-defense. But it wasn't first-degree murder because it wasn't premeditated. But the defense team did a horrible job of not... The defense team didn't do a good enough job showing the jury that this wasn't premeditated. Yeah, but he only pushed them. You can't stab somebody when somebody pushes you. That's just what it is. You know, you got a right to defend yourself with equal or greater force. So if he'd have punched him, he could have defended himself. If they would have jumped him, he could have stabbed somebody. But not off a push. And y'all, like I said, and y'all know, for the y'all kid, you know, I'm about pro-black as it get. But I gotta keep it real at the same time. This is Keep It G News. I gotta keep it real at all times. It don't matter if the suspect is black, the victim is black, none of that. The fix was in. The fix was in. The minute that the judge decided no cameras, you knew what it was. You knew what it was. No cameras in a state trial. No cameras. Red flag off the rip. Yo, the defense. It was like I can't even call it a defense. Like, I don't know what that was, yo. It's like he just gift wrapped it, Karmelo Anthony to the system. He gift wrapped them to the system. No defense. Called 5 witnesses. No experts. Yo, have we ever seen that done before? No experts on juveniles. No experts on bullying. No experts on nothing. These deserve 35 years? Fuck no. But 20, I think what he did, I think 20 years would have been justified. I think 20 years would have been justified. I think ideally 15 years would have been like great. 15 years. 20 years, it's like, it's high, but all right, I can see somebody did lose their life. 35? Nah. I think the case is ultimately going to get appealed. I think ultimately this case is going to get appealed due to inadequate counsel. Inadequate counsel due to the fact that all the witnesses, he didn't have no non-bias. All the witnesses had a bias. Every single one of them. Damn near. All the student witnesses that was called up had a reason to lie. Because they all went to that school. Like, he didn't have nobody on his side. Nobody. He had nobody on his side. It wasn't nobody that can testify objectively to the details of the situation. He got thrown, man. He got thrown. Like, that's the real. And ain't nobody else gonna tell y'all that, because people be too scared to say, oh, this is the thing. Like, this is not uncommon in court. I think this is probably the first time we've seen it. And I don't even think people even recognize that's what they're saying yet. But this is not uncommon. Yo, some lawyers will throw you, man. I think what Karmelo Anthony should have done, in this case particularly, he should have got an out-of-town lawyer. That's what he should have done. I think he had a much better chance with an out-of-town lawyer than a lawyer that's from Dallas, than a lawyer that has to go against these prosecutors again, have to live in this city, have to face these judges. I think the racial dynamic throughout this situation was too great. It was a great racial dynamic. Far as if Karmelo Anthony would have beat this case, it'd have been a lot of problems in Texas between blacks and whites. I think that played a role in how the whole trial was shaped up. You understand what I'm saying? I think that's why they didn't want cameras there. You see some of the things that was going on the outside. Like, this case was very racial. Very racial. And yes, he did get railroaded. But the fucked up thing about it is he didn't get railroaded by the prosecution. It's everything. It's America. Everything's about race. He got railroaded by his own defense team, man. And that's what people need to be focused on. And this happens all the time in courts, where a lawyer, I guarantee you're going to see this lawyer in the next probably 10, 15 years start propelling up the ranks. Maybe he might be a judge or something. I don't know what the mother used the money for, man. She probably did. Appreciate the $2. Like, I'm not going to run with no narratives that I don't know to be true. Like, I seen some people say that his parents spent the money on this. I don't know where his parents spent the money at. I know that lawyer was inept. And I think it was intentional. In the last live I did, I showed y'all multiple instances when the lawyer was supposed to intervene and ask for an objection. Like, let me go back to the video. The lawyer's supposed to ask for an objection, man. All throughout the testimony. And he didn't. He didn't. He allowed these kids to say Karmelo Anthony was the aggressor. Yo, that is, how can, like, yo, it's like simple stuff like that. How are you allowing these kids to say who was the aggressor versus who not? That is speculation. That's argumentative. That is not a fact. It's not a fact. You object to those type of questions. And witness after witness after witness after witness was asked that question, who was the aggressor? And they answered. And the defense didn't object to nail one of them. Nail one of them. Yo, he even allowed, and this is probably the most egregious thing, he even allowed one witness to say Austin Metcalf wasn't trying to hurt him. What the fuck? Is you serious? How the fuck do you know what Austin Metcalf was trying to do? Yo, you object to those type of answers. Those type of questions. You can't answer that. Yo, I don't know what he was trying to do. But what I'm saying is the defense attorney, when those questions got asked to these witnesses, the defense attorney posed an objected. That is speculation. That's speculation. That's argumentative. Those aren't facts. Who was the aggressor is up to anybody's determination. That is subjective. We both can look at this situation. You can say he's the aggressor. I can say he's not. You objected those type things. The lawyer let that play out like it was facts. Like the fact Karmelo stabbed him, that is a fact. Who was the aggressor is up for debate. The jury decides who is the aggressor based off of the witness testimony. But you don't allow the witnesses to say who the aggressor was. You get what I'm saying? Then the judge allowed Austin Metcalf family to show emotion. Yo, in any trial I've been a part of, there are strict rules on showing emotion. There's strict rules on showing emotion. You know why? Because it can prejudice the jury. So all throughout this trial, Austin Metcalf family was crying. And the judge did not one time say, you gotta leave. You gotta leave. Jury, leave out the room for a minute. Sir, you got one more time. One more outburst. This is what happens in court daily, y'all. This is what happens in court daily, y'all. But for some reason, in this trial, they just allowed them to do that. You had the jurors looking at the family cry. I'm just telling y'all things that I witnessed from, blogs reporting it. Reputable, credible blogs, not mainstream, because they're not going to report that shit. I was fucking with Nick at Night. Nick at Night did an awesome job. She went through a lot of bullshit to get the truth, and she covered it. Salute to her. And I'm ready to go back to her video. But you're not supposed to allow nobody to make... Have you ever seen when verdicts get read, and before the jury is allowed in the court, the judge said, look, I don't want no outbursts. One outburst and you're getting out of here. That's what they do. Because it can prejudice the jury in their verdict. A jury can convict just based off of looking at how the family is reacting. They can share that pain. But these was things that was allowed to go on in this trial that shouldn't have been allowed to go on. So, let me get back to what I was showing y'all. Look at this.
Hello, my name is Adam Ferrari, the Chief Executive
Exactly,
Officer.
y'all. Like the fix was in, they all was a part of it. They all was a part of it. And like I said, I'm not saying Karmelo didn't deserve to go to jail. See, that's the crazy thing about racists, right?
In 15 minutes on average, lasts up to 36.
I'm not saying he didn't deserve to go to jail. And it's me, pro-black, that's against juveniles getting life sentences. But what I am saying is it wasn't first-degree murder, and 35 years was excessive. The defense attorney didn't put on the defense. The judge allowed strange things to occur. I am saying that. Like, for the people that's happy that he got arrested and got found guilty, can y'all at least acknowledge that part? Like I can acknowledge it. Why can't people acknowledge that, yo, I ain't gonna lie, it was some wild shit going on. The defense didn't object to nothing. That is crazy. That is crazy. The defense allowed witness after witness after witness after witness after witness come up there and paint, or not even paint, say, because they can paint whatever story they want to paint. He allowed the prosecution witnesses to say Karmelo was the aggressor. What? I'm not being objective right now. How I'm not being objective? I just said he deserved to go to prison. How much more objectivity do you want? Like, what the fuck? I'm being very objective. I'm saying it wasn't self-defense. I'm being very objective. But it wasn't first degree murder. It wasn't first degree. It wasn't first degree premeditated murder. Premeditated means it was planned. He even allowed a child to say that on the stand. The defense. In your opinion, he should have been sentenced to 50 years? That's crazy, man. He even allowed a witness to say Carmelo Anthony knew what he came there to do. How the fuck did you allow that? Like, now, you didn't, the defense didn't just allow a witness to say what Austin Metcalf was doing and what he was feeling. He allowed the witness to say what Karmelo was doing and was feeling. Like, yo, what are y'all talking about? Y'all know that's not normal. Like, yo, why people just can't be real, man? That's not how that go, man. Regardless of how you feel about the trial, whether he guilty or not, y'all know that is not normal. That's not normal. He allowed a prosecution witness to say what Karmelo was thinking, what Austin Metcalf was thinking, who was the aggressor. Yo, all of that stuff was supposed to be objected to. All of it. And it's supposed to be sustained. Or if it's not sustained, if it is overruled, at least the objection is on the record, because when you object, that is what the appeals court look at first. The rulings in the court. What was objected to? What was sustained? What was overruled? The judge, the defense team didn't object damn near nothing. He allowed the prosecution to build a whole narrative. And just watched. And just watched. And people talking about an all-white jury. Man, fuck the all-white jury. This is a much bigger issue. The jury was all white because he was in a town that was fucking 9% black. The chances he was going to get a black person on that jury was slim. Yo, y'all ain't going to get this nowhere else. I'm trying to tell you. Because I don't care about views and numbers. And I'm going to tell you what the fuck it is, man. People can like it, hate it, love it. This is what it is. And this is not my opinion. This is me understanding law and watching and being a part of my own cases and watching criminal cases. Yo, you cannot testify as to what another person is thinking. You can't do that. And the defense attorney allowed it.
Corrections works in 15 minutes
Look.
on average, lasts up to 36 hours, and you have more
Look
confidence.
what I'm talking about.
I guess it does do everything. It's called Rougier.
He probably did. He even allowed one witness, a black kid witness. He even allowed the prosecutor to ask this kid, did you know that your mother was Austin Metcalf pediatrist? Or what the fuck that shit is with the kids? Y'all know, a kid doctor. Objection, Your Honor. Relevance. Pediatric doctor. What was the relevance to that? No objection. No objection. Yo, he was thrown by the defense attorney, man. And that's going to open the door up for another trial. So get ready. Because it's going to be another one. He need to be getting another. I hope they still got some money left. He need to be getting a lawyer right now and filing for ineffective counsel. Ineffective counsel. That's what he need to be doing. So look, before I even get to this is what pissed me off. So Shalom, hit that like button, y'all. Subscribe to the channel if you're new. Yo, we is 10 subscribers away from 28,000. This is the longest I ever been in the same thousands. Like, shit is fucking crazy. I've been at 27,000 for a year. YouTube taking my subscribers and playing dumbass games, knowing I'm the realest thing on this bitch. They know it. Why the fuck they keep playing? Look. Yeah, I don't know what happened with that shit, man. Yeah, they probably, but the fix was in. They could have did a lot of things. They could have changed the venue. But the defense attorney threw him, yo. He should have got an out-of-state attorney. And y'all know I've said it's better to get an attorney where you from. But in this case, with the publicity surrounding it and the racial dynamic that was a part of it, you should have got a lawyer from another town, man. Another state. Should have got a lawyer from another state. Because this lawyer who represented Karmelo Anthony has to still practice law in Texas. And they was going to give him a hard way to go. So he didn't fight. That's just my opinion as to why he didn't fight. But him not fighting, that's a fact. That ain't my opinion. He didn't fight at all. No expert witnesses. Karmelo Anthony supposed to got on the stand and testified, man. If I was Karmelo Anthony's attorney, he would have got on the stand and testified. This is your last hope. You got 15 kids saying that you was the aggressor. We'll never know what was Austin Metcalf mind frame. You the only one that can tell his story. You the only one that can tell his story. Crampton, yo, come on with the racism shit, y'all. If you can't have if you're not smart enough to have a real conversation, then yo, this ain't the page for you, man. Cause I'm being real. I ain't being racist. I said he should. I say he didn't. This wasn't self-defense. I can say that. Being pro-black, I can also say that this wasn't self-defense.
Boy was allowed not one black soul on a jury. And all.
Hey, HM, what I say wrong? What I say wrong? For the people that disagree, what did I say wrong? What did I say wrong, y'all? What did I say that was wrong, man? Because I'm being fair as possible. He knew he had a knife. He used it after being pushed. I didn't say he didn't. But it wasn't first-degree murder. That's not what first-degree murder is. First-degree murder is pre-planned. He didn't go over there with the intent to kill anybody. He didn't go over there with that intent. He went over there to have a conversation with somebody he thought was a friend of his and got confronted. At best, that's second-degree murder. At best. At best, that is second-degree murder. Not first-degree. What you mean? So the knife wasn't the lead. We can bring a knife if we want to. I don't know. And that's another thing. That's another thing the defense didn't do. You didn't provide any explanation as to why he even had the knife. Like, the defense threw him, y'all. That's what I'm trying to get people to understand. The defense was inadequate, worthless. He didn't fight at all. He left way too many questions unanswered. Like, you would think something as simple as that. Yo, why'd he have a knife? You don't provide no explanation. You could have made up something. He was being bullied. He was cleaning his cleats. You could have made up anything. Anything. He had it in his book bag the night before. He forgot it was there. It could be a million reasons why he had the knife, y'all. It could be a million reasons. He didn't get it, yo. This is the for the racist people, y'all. See, this is where stereotypes come into mind. Come into play. Yo, y'all think black people is this damn violent, where you got or ignorant or whatever y'all think of black people. Yo, you got a kid that's 17 years old, never been in trouble, A student on the track team. Y'all think he went there with the intent to kill somebody? If this same kid was white, would y'all say the same thing? That he went there with the intent to kill somebody? He don't have no history of violence. A student on the track team. He didn't go there with the intent to kill nobody, man. No, it's not black logic. I don't know. I don't know why he had to. I don't know. See, y'all want to be racist, y'all. See, I can't talk to y'all. Because what I'm saying makes sense to anybody logical. But it's like with racism and prejudice, it's like it overrides common sense. It was like 5 inches or something, 4 inches. Like, when you racist, you can't have common sense. It fucks up your judgment. It fucks up your judgment. Like, yo, it could have been 1,000 reasons why he had the knife. He's a fucking kid. Now, how many kids walk around with knives? Now, how many white kids walk around with knives? I'm willing to bet it's more white kids that walk around with knives than it is black. If they can do a motherfucking survey or a study on it, I guarantee the numbers of favor per capita, since anybody like to say that. But because he planned on robbing someone and murdering him. Why? Why would he? So he's a track team. He's a track runner and a robber and murderer. How many track runners y'all know in y'all personal life that also robs people on their day off? No, these motherfuckers are serious, yo. Cause this is the negative perception that they believe on black people. This is the shit I was talking about. Why we gotta stop with the stereotypes, because stereotypes leads to these type of comments. The stereotypes that have been placed on black people, that we're allowed to be placed on black people, is what leads to these type of comments. Meanwhile, white people are the most violent people in the United States. White people commit most of the violent crime in the United States. Yo, don't let them rock, y'all. Don't block nobody. Let them rock. Let them rock. Let them rock. But you don't allow it. What you mean? You mean the stereotype that you guys? No, y'all. Yo, all right. So if I tell y'all, right, for the white people, right, if I tell y'all I'm a tow truck driver, and I was just at work 2 days ago, and a biker boy pulled up on his bike. Pulled up on his bike and said, "Who's the manager?" Biker boy. He ain't look black to me. Who's the manager? The manager like me right here. Not me, but this is what he said. He said, man, one of your drivers cut me off. If you do it again, I'm going to put a hole in this motherfucking ass and walk straight out. Would y'all believe me? Since white people are saints and black people are violent. No, he's a biker boy. He's a grown man, but he was a biker. Would y'all believe me if I told y'all a white person did that 2 days ago? See, but y'all don't give them. What if the perception of white people, right, was determined by the biker boys, the biker guys, the motorcycle, the Hell's Angels? What if Hell's Angels and the Banditos, right? What if when we seen the average white person, we thought about the Hell's Angels? Would y'all like that? Would y'all say that's an accurate depiction of white America? Is the Banditos and Hell's Angels an accurate depiction of white America? Can somebody let me know? Is the Banditos and the Hell's Angels an accurate picture of white America? Look, why see this is what y'all always do. Why can't nobody answer that question? No, there are hillbilly and hicks. Okay. What about the trailer park community? Is it if I was to go to the trailer parks, the depths of the trailer park community, and see how they living, would that be an accurate depiction of how you living at your house? It's not no more Crips and Bloods and no biker gangs. What you ask, Mike? Like, seriously though, real question. If I was to go to the trailer park, and I'd be like, damn, this is a great representation of white America. Would it be, would the trailer park community, what if he shoved him back and not stabbed him? I don't think he should have stabbed him. Is the trailer park community, like I said, you're talking about putting stereotypes on black people. Every black person says every white person is a racist. Yo, but no, I don't call every white person a racist. If you can't answer simple questions that I'm asking you, and your response is some racist about black, I'm asking you simple questions. Is the trailer park community a great representation of the white community? I need somebody to let me know. Can somebody let me know? Look, see, y'all can't answer simple questions, man. Y'all can't answer simple questions. That's a simple question. Because y'all, exactly, it's not. I know it's not. So why is it that y'all take a small portion of black America and make them the face of black America? Yo, most people in the hood never sold drugs. Most people in the black community never committed a crime. But the problem is that we allow these stereotype narratives to run wild through rap music, through movies. You understand what I'm saying? Through entertainment, through news sources. So for some reason, y'all allow a small percentage of black people that's committing crimes. Let's say it's 10%. Y'all allow 10% characterize the 90%. But y'all wouldn't want that done to y'all. If the Banditos and the biker boys represented you and your household and your principles and your family, you wouldn't like it. Because you know they're a ruthless gang that kill people and rob and sell drugs, and do everything that y'all say the Bloods and the Crips do. The Hells Angels and the Banditos do everything that y'all say the Bloods and the Crips do. But for some reason, that's not a representation of y'all. The trailer park community do everything that you see in the hood. Drug using, drug selling, abuse. They even got incest going on over that bitch. But that's not a representation of y'all. Come on, y'all. Let's be real, man. See, y'all ain't never had nobody have a real conversation with y'all. If you can be real, you know what I'm saying makes sense. If you can be real and step out of your racism for a second, you know what I'm saying makes sense. You know what I'm saying makes sense, man. It's not right. Crime doesn't have a color. Crime doesn't have a race. We allow through media, we allow the narrative of crime to get put on black people when everybody commit crime. Exactly. You can't put all blacks in a category just like you can't do all whites. Exactly. Exactly. And the same people that's like to put all black people in the category, they don't want to get put in the category. They don't want to get put in a box. I don't think we glorify, yo. We're not the ones pushing it. We don't run the media, yo. We don't run the media. Yeah, we don't run the media. But this is what I don't like. I don't like this narrative. I don't think this narrative is helpful. What's up, Shawnee, baby? Because I don't think this is why this case went this way.
White jury convicted him in 2 to 3 hours. We know that they did not prove their case. They are currently sentencing Karmelo Anthony. But we know that the Next Generation Action Network put the first $10,000 towards an appellate attorney. And we will fight Collin County like hell. I respected this process.
Well, all white just mean it wasn't no black jurors. But I don't think that's the case. Yo, this case was flimsy. The defense didn't fight it. Yo, I told y'all, and I stand on that. Yo, if I wasn't as pro-black as I am, and I was on that jury, I would have convicted them. Do y'all understand what that means? Do y'all hear what I'm saying? Me, KBG News, super pro-black, against juveniles catching life. If I was on that jury, and I heard that evidence, and I heard the lack of defense that was presented, I'd have found them guilty, man, in 2 hours. It wasn't the jury, man. It was the defense. Defense was horrible. They had a lot to go. They didn't even try, y'all. They didn't even try. I didn't mean to say flimsy. That was bad words. They didn't even try at all. Like, they didn't put on no fight, no effort, no expert witnesses. At least bring up a witness on how the juvenile brain works. You know, at that age, yo, you don't really have the ability to properly assess what's a threat. At that age, you still learning, you still growing. You ain't even got your frontal lobe yet. He overestimated. He overjudged. He made a mistake. It wasn't intentional. First degree murder.
Allowed and called for peace in this process. But Black America should be very upset about what went on today. Now, before all of the internet lawyers and
yo, upset no, y'all. We should be upset at the defense team. At the defense team. Not the all-white jury. Not the white jury, yo, because look, yo, I just showed y'all the percentage of blacks Look at the percentage of blacks. The chances are it was going to be an all-white jury. Look at the percentage. Look at the percentage. 51% white. Like, yo, what you mean? What do you mean? 8% black, 29% Alaskan Native. Of course it was going to be an all-white jury. That ain't the thing to be upset about. The thing to be upset about is the case not being public, the defense not putting on a motherfucking performance. That's it. That's it, and that's all. The judge allowing the family to cry in front of the jury. That's it. Like, yo, they always do this with us. Try to give us misplaced anger. Nah, man. We gonna put the blame where it belongs as long as I'm on the internet. I'm from Baltimore too. We're gonna put the blame where it belongs as long as I'm here. And it belongs on the court system, the judge, and the defense team. They threw that boy, man. They threw that boy. Not the jury. I'd have found him guilty, y'all. And I mean, y'all know y'all know me. For people that be over, I'd have found him guilty. I can say it with confidence. If I was on that jury and I wasn't me, pro-black me, and I just was a person that was sequestered to be on the jury, I'd have found him guilty, y'all.
And before all of the interpretation of the situation, I'm only an advocacy leader. I'm not an attorney. I can only help families be able to navigate these processes when they find themselves in this type of situation. I can only allow lawyers to be what they are, lawyers. I can't instruct them. I can't stop them from doing anything. I have to respect the process just like anybody else. But what we saw today was flawed, unjust, and I ask that the community continue to pray for the Anthony
I don't know
family.
where his fans spent the
I do not speak for them, but I know that the Next Generation Action Network will be here as support. My heart hurts right now because an ignorance of the law was done here today. Clear. We posted the jury instructions, and right now what we are seeing is a travesty. It lets us that black lives do not matter in the criminal justice system. It lets us know that we are not going to be afforded the same.
Yeah, I don't believe people like him. Like, fuck him. We don't need these guys. We don't need these guys saying anything, man. I ain't gonna lie. I don't trust them.
As anybody else. And I give a damn about nobody that feels like I'm playing the race card here.
Yo, it wasn't the fact that he was at the tent. He could have been at the tent. It's the fact that he was at the opposing team tent. So everybody that testified had reason to lie. Had reason to blame to blame Karmelo Anthony. That was the issue. He didn't have no witnesses on his side. He didn't have nobody that was objective. Everybody had a connection to that community. Everybody had a connection to that school. So even the defense witnesses blamed him. He was the only person that could save himself. And the defense didn't put him on the stand. That's where he fucked up at. That's why I'm blaming the defense team. How the fuck you got a trial where it's all about intent, it's all about motive, it's all about mind frame, and you got the kid who can explain all of that. He the only one that can do it. And you don't put him on the stand. You allow witness after witness after witness after witness say that he was the aggressor. Well, that's argumentative. That need to be objected to. The jury should have never heard that. It's the jury's job to decide who was the aggressor, not the witnesses. And the defense team said nothing. Said nothing the whole time. You had 10 people go up there and say, yo, Karmelo is the one that instigated it. Yo, that is up for perception. That's not a fact. As a witness, you testify to the facts. You don't never allow a person to answer a question like that. Who was at fault? Who was the aggressor? Your Honor, objection. He didn't do none of that, man. And I'm going to show y'all what I mean by he didn't do none of that. So this is the live we was watching earlier. Let me go back a little bit. He allowed the mother to cry. He allowed Austin Metcalf family to cry. The judge allowed that and never told him to leave the room. Knowing that that could severely prejudice the jury. This case is going to get appealed, man. This case is getting appealed. Remember I told y'all that. He's going to get a new trial. Because this trial here was a shit show. Maybe, hopefully, they looking at it when we give him a new trial, the media coverage will die down a little bit. Hey, David, you ain't hear what I said, David. I said he should go to jail. I'm just saying it wasn't first-degree murder. And I stand on that. I think it's proof to that. The defense didn't do a good job of, relaying it to the jury.
As it's like, oh, but it wasn't really like, yeah, he pushed him enough to get him up out his seat, but not to really hurt him though.
No, not invalidated, but they had reason to lie. Not invalidated, no. But you gotta, it's cause for pause. It should definitely be questioned. You don't agree? You don't think that by this stabbing happened at the opposing school, you don't think that they would side with their school? You don't think that? I'm sure. Come on now. Nightbot here, y'all, so watch what you say. Nightbot just came out the cut, so be careful. I can't control him. Yep, look, I told you. What's time?
He said he pushed him enough to get him up out of his seat,
Listen.
but not to seriously hurt him.
Look, objection. Objection. Who is this kid to say he pushed him out? He pushed him enough to get out of his seat. That's it. Once he said to not seriously hurt him, though that is your opinion. It's not a fact. Objection, Your Honor. Sustained. Jury. Disregard that last statement. That's how that goes, y'all. That's how that go. Listen to it again.
Front of me, and then they're thinking
It could have been manslaughter with a deadly weapon. First, it could have been manslaughter because he didn't provoke him. Then that's another thing. How did Anthony provoke him when he approached Anthony? What it is, bro? How did Karmelo Anthony provoke Austin Metcalf when he was minding his business, man? He didn't know he was going to stab him. See, that's the thing. The judge, the defense even allowed somebody to say that. Like, how can you say what he knew? As a witness, you can't say what he knew. How the fuck you going to say that? You're not in his mind.
funny and they're laughing. And then you got Eddie that's pulling out his phone and acting like he's recording.
Yeah, hell yeah, Jesse. See, y'all must be new here, man. Yo, subscribe to the channel. Yo, I'm not biased, man. I'm being as real as I can possibly be on this, yo. And I think I'm being down the middle. I think I'm spitting it down the middle. So none of this would have never happened though, Loco Carnage, if he ain't never get approached. None of this would have never happened. Yo, y'all gotta remember, yo. See, this is the thing, and the judge and the defense didn't do a good job of doing this, right? Put yourself in Carmelo Anthony's shoes, right? Just try this for the races, right? It's raining outside. You go over to a tent where you know somebody at. Your school don't have a tent. Just think about this. Just ride with me for a minute. Your school doesn't have a tent. He goes to the tent to talk to somebody he knows or he think he knows. As you talking to this kid, your friend, who you think is your friend, or at least somebody your acquaintance, you got 15 or 20 other kids watching you. Yo, who's he? Who's he? Who's he? You know, everybody's talking about you, right? Now you got another kid, big kid, walks up to you, say, look, you gotta move. You gotta move. This is not your team tent. You gotta move. So you like, no, the fuck I don't. The fuck I'm talking to my man. But now your man, he ain't even speaking for you. Your man is recording. So you looking like, oh, what the fuck? So you got my man recording. You got this kid in front of me telling me I gotta move. You got a kid in back of me basically trying to harass him, tease him. So now it's like, I ain't going nowhere. I ain't going nowhere. Now it's make me move. How he wrong for that? That's not first degree. That ain't first degree, man. I'm saying it's not first degree. I said he should do some time. But it wasn't first degree murder. He should do some time. Yes. I don't know how many times I can say that. But it wasn't first degree murder, man. Why should he have to walk away? I got a right to be here too. It's not illegal for me to be in this tent. It's not against the law. I can stay here. Go get the coach. It was manslaughter. I agree it was manslaughter. Go get the coach. But I'm not ready to let another child who's my equal, who I don't have to respect. You're not my elder. You're not an authoritarian figure. I don't have to leave because you tell me to leave. Go get the coach. I bet if the coach would have told him to leave, he'd have left. I bet if Austin Metcalf said, all right, coach, he ain't trying to leave. And the coach said, look, son, can you go? I bet he'd have left. I bet he'd have left. But the real problem and the real culprit is the motherfucking friend. Eddie. Or Edward. Whatever the fuck his name is. It's he's the reason for all of this. Because all he had to do was say something. I don't know who raising that boy. But all he had to do was say something. Yo, he over here talking to you, bro. And instead of you saying something, you start recording. You egged it on. Now listen to the defense. Listen to these questions. And I'm gonna show y'all where the defense supposed to interject it.
he said, they and that's where I feel like that was one of those buzzwords. We didn't think he had nothing in his bag. You're from Frisco, and we all laughed. Austin kept the same tone the whole time. So you mean to tell me a boy that's a few bleachers away that's gonna walk up on a boy and
objection? It's not a fact. As a witness, you only testify to facts. We don't want to hear your opinion. That's argumentative. Austin keeping the same tone the whole time is argumentative. Objection, Your Honor. It's not a fact. As a witness, you testify to the facts, not to your opinion, not to your interpretation of things, just the facts. The defense never objected.
push him. He got his voice is just calm, monotone. He's so mad to where he want to get up and physically push the guy.
Yeah,
but
exactly.
He's calm the whole time, and his tone is like, come on. So it says,
But I see. Let's find out. Since you think yo, you gotta be new here if you think I don't know what the fuck I'm talking about when it come to court.
400 years, our people.
You gotta be new here. You see the stuff that I got put up on my computer? Look, this is me sliding over. The fuck is you talking about? I don't know what I'm talking about. You tripping. What are objections a defense can make during a criminal trial?
According to criminaldefenselawyer.com, from hearsay to leading questions, understand the most common objections in criminal court and how they affect defendants, witnesses, and families.
Hearsay, relevance, leading questions, speculation, opinion, best evidence rule, privilege. These are all objections. Argumentative can be an objection. Hearsay can be relevance, can be an objection. Speculation. The witness is asked to guess or assume facts. Assume. I know what the fuck I'm talking about, fuck boy. Just listen and learn something. I'm sure you don't know more about me, about law than I do.
nobody was worried about him. He didn't got
It can be objected to. Make the judge rule on it. Now, some of these objections could be overruled, but to just sit back and allow it is crazy. Whether it be accepted or not, object, Your Honor.
in his bag. He said Austin kept the same tone the whole time, just telling him to leave the tent. Austin was a leader. And then so they wanted to know what was Hunter doing. Hunter stayed out of it. He just watched. Austin grabbed Melo's hoodie and pushed him enough to get him up out of his seat, but not to seriously hurt him.
Did you hear that? Who is this witness to say that? He pushed him enough to get him out of his seat, but not enough to seriously hurt him? Yo, that is speculation. That's argumentative. It's not a fact. Lack personal knowledge of. In order for him to know his intent, he would have to be Austin Metcalf. Speculation. The witness is asked to guess or assume facts. They lack personal knowledge. You can't say what his intent was when he pushed them. You can't say what his intent was. You keep talking about direct. I know, yo. He can say he pushed him, but you can't say what his intent was with the push. You can't say that, y'all. You can't say what his intent was. He spoke to Austin Metcalf. Listen to it. Listen to it.
His voice is just calm, monotone.
Right,
He's
come on,
so
y'all.
mad to where he want to get up and physically push the guy, but he calm the whole time, and his tone is like, come on. So it says, nobody was worried about him. He didn't got nothing in his bag. He said Austin kept the same tone the whole time, just telling him to leave the tent. Austin was a leader. And then so they wanted to know what was Hunter doing. Hunter stayed out of it. He just watched. Austin grabbed Melo's hoodie and pushed him enough to get him up out of his seat, but not to seriously hurt him. So you're going to push me enough to get me out of my seat, but then try to downplay it as it's like, oh, but it wasn't really like, yeah, he pushed him enough to get him up out of his seat, but not to like,
yo, that's not observation, yo. You know what observation is? It's not an observation. That's him assuming. That's him assuming what Austin Metcalf was thinking. What are you talking about, man? That's not an observation. That's an opinion. A witness not qualified as an expert is asked to opinion on a matter requiring specialized knowledge. That's his opinion, man. Y'all know what I'm talking about, bro. Like, just listen. You don't know. I'm sure you don't know more about this shit than I do. How many cases have you covered? How many criminal cases have you had? For you to be over here questioning me, how many cases have you covered or had in your lifetime? How many criminal trials? You know what the fuck you talking about, man? Listen. Learn something. Stop being stupid. I don't think he was using no public defender. He was using the public defender? If he was using the public defender, that answers every motherfucking thing. He wasn't using no public defender, yo. He had a paid attorney, yo. I ain't even gotta look that up. I know he had a paid attorney. He had a paid attorney. Oh, so you a snitch. So we don't want to hear nothing you got to say. If you testify, bro, I ain't even responded to you no more. We'll respond to rats over here.
No. He said he pushed him enough to get him up out of his seat, but not to seriously hurt him. And the push wasn't hard, but he didn't see the stabbing motion. It was so quick. He didn't know what happened. He saw him lift his shirt and the inside of the stabbing.
Objection. How the fuck you know what he's saying? Like, yo, all of this was supposed to be stricken. Yo, but he can't determine his intent, Lord. Nobody knows his intent. Yo, these aren't expert witnesses, y'all. These aren't expert witnesses. They can't speak to nobody's intent. How the fuck, like, yo, listen to what y'all saying. So, yo, this is what racism does. Like, yo, racism, it clouds judgment. Yo, y'all are sitting over here making a million excuses rather than just accept the obvious. These are kids. young kids that witnessed the event, they can't start going into their opinion. That's not what they're there to do. Yeah, no. That's not what they do. As a witness to a crime, you're there to get facts. That's it. That is it. The facts that you know them as. Not to offer your opinion. And when a prosecutor or defense team asks you your opinion, it's up to the other party to object. That's what you're supposed to do. You object to that. Speculation, argumentative, hearsay, relevance. You object to that. And then you let the judge rule. Now the judge can say overruled or sustained. But you don't just sit there and just allow it and say nothing. That's all I'm saying, y'all. Whether it have been ruled on for the defense or not, to sit back and say nothing was crazy. That's all I'm saying. I didn't say he deserved to be stabbed. I told y'all he didn't deserve to be stabbed. I told, like, yo, everybody catch up. I need everybody to catch up. I'm not saying it was self-defense. And we all on board. Is everybody understood that Keep It G News is not saying it was self-defense? We understand that, right? But what I am saying is it wasn't first-degree murder. What I am also saying is the defense did a horrible job. That's what I'm saying. The defense did a horrible job of creating doubt for his client. He allowed these witnesses to go up there and say things that should have been objected to. Rather, the objection was sustained or overruled. We'll never know. Because it was obvious points in witnesses' testimony that deserved an objection. And he said nothing. That's what we're talking about. Man, I would have been convinced, Charles. After listening to the witnesses with no objections, I would have been convinced. That's all I'm saying, y'all. I wasn't surprised. I was talking to my cousin before the trial. Before I said he's gonna get found guilty. He's gonna go to jail, man. But it wasn't more so of what he did. It was the lack of pushback. It was the lack of pushback. No, I'm not, y'all. I never said that. I didn't blame the all-white jury. What are you talking about? The whole time I've been talking about the defense. I've been talking about the defense the whole time, man. You just want to argue. See, that's what the racism do. Racism clouds your judgment. So instead of listening to what I'm saying, you want to argue with me. Ain't nothing to argue about. Just listen. The defense, he got thrown. That's what I'm saying. I'm saying, okay, the fact that it wasn't no black jurors, that's not my beef. It was no black jurors. I'm not beefing on that. I showed you the makeup of the town. Chances are there wasn't going to be it was probably an 85% chance that it wasn't going to be no black jurors. He should have known that going into it. You in a town that's 8% black. What's the fuck? What are the odds? You probably can roll the dice 1,000 times and you might only get a black juror once. Based off the dynamics of the town. My issue was the defense and a lackluster performance. The intentional lackluster performance. Because how do I know as a civilian that never been a lawyer? I done been in trouble. I done did some cases. I done read some law books. I done did all of that. But I never been a lawyer, never passed the bar. Know that some of these things should have been objected to. And it wasn't.
Then they wanted to know, well, at this point, did Hunter get involved? He said Hunter didn't get involved. He was sitting to the left of Austin and below Melo, and all he remembers is just being in shock. After that, they went to the buses with Coach Ruiz. He said it didn't look like Austin was trying to pick a fight, but it looked like Melo was trying to pick a fight.
Objection. Objection. Argumentative. That's not a fact. That's not a fact. That's your opinion. You object to that. We're not here to get your opinion. No, that's not a direct observation, man. And even if it is, it can still be objected to. That's all I'm saying. It could have been objected to. Now, whether it would have been upheld, it's up to the judge. But to just sit back and allow this is crazy. That's all I'm saying, HM. You don't think that's crazy? If you was a defense attorney, you wouldn't object to that? Knowing that the case is about intent? No, I'm not saying murder is okay. I said this wasn't self-defense. You object because this person gave his opinion. This person gave his opinion. We're not here for your opinion. The jury decides who started the fight based off the facts. Not your opinion. Do that make sense to people? The jury decides his guilt based off the facts, not witnesses' opinion. All right, come on, Nene. You don't care. Been going at it for 20 minutes, man. Come on, man. Let's get back focused.
Like, not to really hurt him, though. He said he pushed him enough to get him up out of his seat, but not to seriously hurt him. And the push wasn't hard, but he didn't see the stabbing motion. It was so quick.
Look.
He didn't know what happened. He saw him lift his shirt.
Look, he didn't see this. How you know what the fuck he's saying? Like, yo, like, come on. Now I would have objected to all. He wouldn't have been able to say none of that. How do you know what he's saying? Are you Austin Metcalf eyes now? Like, what the fuck? Is you his eyes? Like, how the fuck you know what he's saying? You don't know what he's saying?
And the inside of the stabbing. Then they wanted to know, well, at this point, did Hunter get involved? He said Hunter didn't get involved.
He can answer that. Did Hunter get involved? Hunter did not get involved. You can answer that. No objection to that. That's a fact. Hunter didn't get involved.
To the left of Austin and below Melo, and all he remembers is just being in shock. After that, they went to the buses with Coach Ruiz. He said it didn't look like Austin was trying to pick a fight, but it looked like Melo was trying to pick a fight.
Objection. Did he even ask him that? Was that even asked as a question? That don't sound like that was asked as a question. It's like he just added that in. No, yo, 10 people said this. And he objected to none of it. He objected to none of it. They all gave their opinion.
Austin was bleachers behind, like he was a few bleachers down. Karmelo is sitting down the whole time. He walks up on him and push him, but it didn't look like he was trying to get in a fight. But it did look like Karmelo, who was sitting down the whole time, it did look like he was trying to get into a fight. And it appears that Karmelo was the one provoking him when Austin was the one that came at him sideways.
What's on the channel, Shawnee?
It's like, okay. Make that make sense. Now, for me, it's like, okay.
All right, already.
But to the media, they're like, oh, this
Hey,
proves that
subscribe to
Karmelo
the
was
channel, man, because I need you here, man.
provoking him. Like, the kid said that Karmelo provoked him, so yep, he provoked him. And I don't give a damn what the kids say. That don't make logical sense. How he provoking, but y'all up on him. That's crazy.
it is on.
So, anyways, if you guys are just tuning in, make sure to hit the like button. This is part 2. I went over a lot of details in part 1. This is a continuation of that live. So, if you're on this live and you haven't seen the other live, go to part 1. And then once you finish part 1,
share the
then
live,
come
y'all.
to part 2.
It ain't gonna get no realer than this, y'all. I'm telling you, it ain't gonna be a realer perspective on this case than Keep It G News. I promise you.
Are breaking down everything in the Karmelo Anthony case and so much more. If you guys have not hit the like button, hit the like button. If you guys would like to donate to my social media travel fund, we are independent out here. It's Neek at Night Media on the Cash App. We would greatly appreciate it so much. And let's continue. So let's see. Okay, so he said it looked like Melo was trying to pick a fight. Melo did not.
He wasn't wrong. He could sit whatever you want. He was wrong for stabbing him. Yes. He was wrong for stabbing him. He didn't have to stab him. But at the same time, you got to put yourself in his shoes. You at the opposing team, you sitting down, minding your business, and you got 15 kids teasing you, harassing you, telling you to move, laughing at you, recording you. You got to remember that, man. You can sit where you want. It's not against the law. No, he wasn't. He was not banned from school events. That's a lie. We don't push lies over here. What Austin Metcalf should have did, instead of taking matters into his own hands, if he really felt that strongly about him sitting there, he should have told one of the coaches. He should have told one of the coaches. That's what Austin Metcalf should have did. Everybody made mistakes. Like, we're not going to sit back and act like Karmelo was the only one that made mistakes. That we're not going to paint Austin Metcalf as a saint. Everybody made mistakes, y'all. We deal with children. Mistakes is going to be made. Austin Metcalf, if he felt strongly about Karmelo sitting there, he should have told a teacher. He should have told whoever it is that run the track team. Karmelo shouldn't have stabbed him. If he didn't want to leave, if he felt disrespected, and he put his hands on him, he should have hit him. He shouldn't have stabbed him. Yo, we got to keep it real, man. That's the problem. That's why we got this huge race problem in America, because nobody want to keep it real. And then when you do keep it real, people still want to argue with you. Everybody made mistakes. Austin Metcalf shouldn't have never approached him. It wasn't his place. You are a kid. Like, he is a kid. You don't tell me what to do. Even if I'm in the wrong, you don't tell me what. Who the fuck is you? Who is you? What? Yo, how many other black people you gonna, like me, that's from the streets, that grew up in a predominantly black environment, is gonna say, yo, that he deserves some time? He deserves some time. What you mean I'm being biased? I ain't being biased, I'm being real. Yeah, but that's still not his place to tell nobody to move, man. It's not his place to tell nobody to move. But what I'm saying is, it wasn't first degree murder. I think it should have been manslaughter. I think manslaughter was more suitable. Cause because people, it can be more than one person wrong. See, that's the problem with America. That's the problem with people. People always look at a situation and just blame him. That's not most situations. Multiple people can be at fault. If you look at any situation, right, things can be changed on both sides in order to make the situation outcome more favorable. Like, we're not just going to look at this and say Karmelo was wrong. No, because Austin was wrong too. Shouldn't have touched him. He shouldn't have approached him. He shouldn't have said nothing to him. Edward was wrong too. Because if Karmelo came over there to motherfucking talk to you, once you seen your school ganging up on him, you should have said something. Other kids was wrong too. Everybody that sat around and watched this whole confrontation go on was wrong for not stopping it. What you mean? So he was 100% wrong, but Austin Metcalf wasn't. Like that's racist, yo. You're being racist. You're not being objective. You're not being objective. So is it okay to touch other people that you don't know? Is it okay? Who said that? Brocky Blunt. Is it okay to touch people that you don't know? It was. And everybody suffered consequences. Nobody wins. Choices was made. That's what I do agree with that. Choices was made and consequences was delivered. On both ends. On both ends. Right. I said he was wrong. I said he was wrong. No, I called him racist because I said repeatedly that they both was wrong, and his willingness not to just admit it. It got to be something. If you can't admit Austin was wrong for touching him, then something, it got to, what is it then? What do you call it? Stupidity? Ignorance? It got to be something, y'all. If you sit back and you just can't admit the obvious, then maybe Austin shouldn't have touched him. Yeah, Karmelo was wrong for stabbing him because he shouldn't have done that, but maybe Austin shouldn't have touched him either. Like, why we can't do that in this country? Why is it that we can't do that? Why else can't be like, yeah, Melo was dead wrong. You do not have the right to stab nobody for touching you. But Austin shouldn't have touched him. Why? See, I can say that because I'm not racist. I can say Karmelo was wrong. But some of y'all can't say Austin was wrong. Y'all can't say it. Because a case can be made that if he never touched them, none of this would have happened. I don't know. I don't know why he. I don't know why. See? That's how you know you racist, Sean. That's how you know you racist. No, I ain't say. I'm not talking about the jurors. I don't have no issue with the white jurors. I have issue with the lack of objections. Is why the defense threw him.
Not look like he was unwilling to fight him. He was sitting the top right of the tent.
Yeah, they both
says
wrong.
The top of his backpack, Karmelo, was open, and he had his right hand in there. Nobody thought. Oh, this is when they said another buzzword. He said he had his hand in his bag, but nobody thought a knife would be at a track meet.
No, I can agree with that, Snow.
If he got his hand in his bag, anything could be up in
Look,
there.
that's another thing. Who is this kid? Objection. Listen to what this kid said on the stand.
Right, of the tent, says the top of his backpack for Melo was open and he had his right hand in there. Nobody thought, oh, this is when they said another buzzword. He said he had his hand in his bag, but nobody thought a knife would be at a track meet.
Come on, y'all. Objection. Objection. What are you talking about? No, who is this kid to say what everybody thought? Now you can say, I didn't think he was going to have a knife at the track meet. But you can't say nobody would thought. You can't say that because now you're speaking for everybody. You can't speak for everybody. He was supposed to object to that. He was supposed to object to that as a defense attorney. But he didn't. He let it go.
If he got his hand in his bag, anything could be up in there. But they kept saying these buzzwords like, okay, like you got to hit this point. Like, you know what I mean? It just felt like
Yeah, it was bad.
You got to hit this point or hit that point. He had his hand in his bag, but nobody thought you would have a knife at a track meet. If somebody got their hand in their bag, you better think something, wherever they are. You better think that they got something.
No, this is my thing.
Because
the witness could have said, I didn't think, but he said no one would have thought. No, he can't say that not in my courtroom. Not if I'm the defense attorney. I'm objecting to that shit quick as a bitch. You can't speak to what everybody else thought. You can't do that.
Not act like we in a world where there ain't kids bringing weapons to school. You ain't supposed to have a weapon at school, but kids is bringing them to campus. There's tons of school shootings. There's tons of weapon involved incidents. Like if somebody put their hand in their bag, you better think something. And the fact that all of them is acting like they didn't see, well, I didn't, like this is school. Like who have a weapon? You're being disingenuous, and now I know that you're coached. So it says, they said they were at the track meet.
No, yo, we're not, it's not about. See, yo, this it's not about whose act was worse. Of course, Melo stabbing him was worse than Austin touching him. Of course, yo. Nobody's gonna come on, we adults over here. Of course it was worse. Of course it was. That's why it wasn't self-defense. Of course it was. But you can't act like Austin was justified in touching him either. That's all I'm saying. He wasn't justified. He shouldn't have touched him. If you don't touch him, none of this happens. They both was wrong. Did he deserve to die for it? No. No, he did not deserve to die for it. Was it self-defense? No. It wasn't self-defense. Was it first-degree murder? No. Was it manslaughter? I can see that. I can see that. BG.
For an hour after the stabbing, he spoke to the police. He says, they said, did it look like self-defense? They was like, nah, it didn't look like it was self-defense. And then they said, no threatening talk from Hunter or...
Look, that's an opinion again. Objection. Objection. This is all I'm trying to get people to see. The defense attorney allowed wild answers, questions and answers to be put on the record. They asked this child who doesn't know those self-defense laws. This child isn't an expert on self-defense. How the fuck did the defense team allow the prosecution to ask this child, was it self-defense? Without an objection. Come on, y'all. For people being real, y'all know what I'm saying makes sense. the defense team allowed the prosecution to ask a team, was it self-defense? And allowed this team to say, no, it wasn't self-defense. Like he's he's an expert on criminology. Objection, Your Honor. Objection.
Austin.
I didn't say it was. Stop. People, please stop coming in here and just commenting. Please stop coming in here and just commenting. Watch a little bit first. Watch a little bit first. Get a good, understanding on what we doing and what we talking about and where we stand on things. And then comment. I never said it was self-defense. I never